Hello and welcome, my name is Flo and this is the first series that I've created and the first episode of my Zeah Locked Ultimate Iron Man. You can see my player name is Hosidius Flo, my love of the Hosidius house. I won't be locked just to Hosidius, but I've decided to lock myself to the wonderful continent of Zeah. There are countless possibilities here, and this video is more of just an introduction to the series. I'm going to go over some of the things I've done so far. As you can see, this character has some gear, it has some stats, which I'll all be going through. And I'll kind of talk about a few short-term goals, long-term goals, and kind of go from there. I'm hoping to upload in like a fortnightly kind of way, kind of schedule. The second episode being recorded as we speak. Not right now obviously, but it is in the process of being recorded, so hopefully that'll come out in quick succession, and then following that, videos can take a week or two to create, or so I'm told to believe. It depends on my playstyle. But to start off, I wanted to kind of introduce myself. My name's Flo. I've been playing RuneScape for over 15 years now. I've kind of rejoined old school a lot in this last year due to the second lockdown of COVID. I've had a few months to get my head around the game again. I started an Ultimate Iron Man called Flo the UIM, and I'll talk more about him a bit later on, back in sort of January time, and I'll learn a lot about the game mode. And that's kind of part of why I wanted to do this series. You know, I like the restriction of UIM, and I also like the idea of more restrictions such as regions. I think region locked accounts are really cool, and I was a big fan of Swampletics Mauritania lock series, and I wanted to do something similar and share my adventure. There's a few other sort of theories like this out there, but everyone goes about it in a different route, and I'll talk a bit about that as well. But for those of you who don't know, UIM Ultimate Iron Man is a playstyle where you can't bank, can't trade with any other accounts, other people. You can't use the Grand Exchange either, marketplace, and you can't pick up items dropped by other people, or if they kill a monster you're killing in multi-combat, you can't collect the drops from there. So quite a few restrictions there, and it leads to some really interesting of methods, skill methods, playstyles, and all that kind of thing. So just to kind of briefly go over some of the end game goals of this account. Obviously, being in Zeah, there are quite a few interesting things I can do. Some of those would be Chambers of Xeric. I'm hoping to solo Chambers of Xeric one day. I've never even entered Chambers of Xeric on any account, so that'd be interesting. Grinding for the elusive Dragon Warhammer would be quite interesting. Getting a Scotizo kill, maybe even going for the pet would be great. Also the same with Seracnus, the Seracnus Cudgel, and the Seracnus pet would be amazing. And also doing all the quests. There's a new quest to Kingdom Divided, got relatively high stat requirements, so that would be interesting to give a go. So there's some of the more kind of long-term goals there. But having a look at the account so far, I've kind of hidden my stats at the moment. Water. But let's have a look. First of all, let's have a look at the inventory. This is kind of where I'm at the moment, the classic Ultimate Iron Man inventory, with the money in the corner there. Actually, I should start at the beginning of when I started this account. I initially did Druidic Ritual. That was one of the kind of exceptions that I gave myself. I spent a couple of hours trying to kill a bear, flinching a bear and using the darter bow to get that bear meat and complete the quest. Picked up a pestle and mortar that has lived in my inventory ever since. A lot of people may say that's kind of bad, but hey, I've got some more more stringent restrictions coming up, which I'll explain to you in a bit. And then I've got a few other bits and bobs, some herbs. I'm doing some farming and some herb runs. One patch that I've got unlocked at the moment. Got a few other materials to use later on. I've got the oak planks, which were quite an interesting find, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Got some arrows and some seeds. Got the Carets memoirs going on, and some runes as well. Looking at the equipment, one of the grinds that I will set myself to begin with was to get tier 5 Shazian armor. So I did that, got 100% Shazian favor. I've also got 100% Arceus favor, so library the other day. And I picked up equipment. The tier 5 is really good for killing shamans, Lisbon shamans, and Lisbon in general. Got some good range benefits and good strength bonuses as well. Another grind I set myself was the Xeric's Talisman, which I finally got, using a relatively low range setup, iron and steel arrows, maple shortbow I believe. So I got that last week. And the Rune Scimitar, that was an interesting one. That was through Gang's system, which is part of the Shazian house. I think it's a 1 in 80 drop from a gangster. Get a Rune Scimitar, which is where I found that you can get planks from them. So to make some early cash, I was selling mahogany and teak planks, and I've kept my oak planks to use in construction, which is a really important skill. And it also locks out one of the achievement diary steps as well. So that's waiting level up there. Speaking of stats, here are the stats at the moment. Got base 50 melee stats with hit points as well, down up to 41 magic, which I'm using, which can be used, to reanimate medium level creatures, which is really important. Done a bit of Slayer and a bit of prayer and ranged training there. A bit of Hunter to be able to do Arceus quest, which I did last week. The farming, which I explained earlier. A bit of thieving, quite a lot of thieving actually. Getting cakes and stuff is really good food, and it'll be good for cash and seeds as well. I've been getting a little bit of herb lore, of course, agility, and a few other skills I've kind of looked up as I've gone. You get either, random events, quest requirements, a bit of kind of multi-skilling with woodcutting and fletching there. Hunter. And I got that from a quest reward and a few other bits. So there's a few skills that I need to work on, which is all part of the fun. And that kind of brings me on to Slayer, which is quite an important skill. If you don't know, you need, I think it is, finish this thing and then I can double check so I'm not wrong, but I believe you need 10 Slayer, get the face mask, and then to get the face mask I can start doing Lovercane Favor, and to do Lovercane Favor you then unlock the minecart system, which is really important for getting around Zeah. However, this is the fun thing about an account like this. To get 10 Slayer, I need 75 combat, and at the moment I'm 66.5 combat, so I'm part of the way there. To get 75 combat to then get a Slayer task from one Slayer Master here, which is good old Kona, and then that will come with itself a range of problems depending on actually get the task I can complete on Zeah. Hopefully I do. If not, I may have to make one of the exceptions, which the Zeah locked community do have, which is Slayer exception. Because unlike Settled Series where he did it in Mauritanian, he was able to obtain Slayer XP through temple trekking. There isn't really a feasible way to obtain XP like that here, unless I was to do random events, which would not be very fun. And that's kind of one of the main things about the series, is making it as fun as possible. In that. So yeah, that's quite important to get the Lovercane Favor. The other grind I need to do is to get 25 construction so I can move my house to Zeah, to Hosidius, and that will finish off the diary, which I'm part of the way through. So yeah, I need to do a bit of mining, do the quest Gorillas, got the 25 construction there, and then fish a trout there for 20 fishing as well. So yeah, kind of sort of leads me nicely onto some of the short-term goals for the account. So up front, 75 combat is probably one of the main ones. Alongside that, I want to get 43 prayer. I'm not far off to unlock overheads. So yeah, we've got extra magic going on, missiles and melee. That makes kind of doing a lot of combat, Slayer, everything in the future a lot easier. I won't have to eat food, and I can train up my farming, finally use these ranars and some prayer pots in the future, because I'll also be able to grow grass as well. Going along with that, we've got some gear hunting to do. I want to get a ring kite shield, for example. Ring kite shield is about a 1 in 500 chance off one of the head guards, Shazian. And having protect from melee will help a lot with that grind. There's also things like the Forthas dungeon. Having protection prayers down there would really help to get some materials. And kind of get to Slayer. I think is going to be the first thing that I do. And then sort of do some exploration. So many interesting methods I can just feel and I can sense in Zeah to level up the skills. Interesting crafting methods, hunter, fishing and cooking. A long time ago I did actually create, a couple of years ago, before I kind of started UIM, I did create a Caravan Locked account, but it was an Iron Man. Excuse me. It was just an Iron Man, and I found an interesting way to do fishing and cooking at the same time over in Hosidius, so we'll explore that in one episode for sure. Some of the bigger grinds, rune crafting, spending my life at the library, all that good stuff to come. And really, like I said earlier, it's more about having fun, exploring the continent, finding out loads of different methods to do things, collecting some interesting equipment. And I will do an episode where I kind of go through all the things that are achievable in this lovely continent. There's pets, there's gear, a lot of collection collection log spots that we can get. I've already got 29 of them filled. Let's have a quick look at that, actually, that'd be interesting to see. So boss wise, there's nothing there. Raids, one day. This is what we could get from raids. Some of the capes down here, the D-claws, the T-bow, the pet. Got some really good made gear. Twisted buckler. We can get onyxes. So we can, so the fury, that could be something to get. Amazing. Clue wise, that'll be an interesting thing to do with clues. I don't think we've got anything from here. Mini game wise, Tithe Farm, that's a good one. We can get a fair bit from there. We can also access aerial fishing as well, which will unlock some of the fishing trawler stuff and a few other bits. They might actually be on here. Yep, there you go, aerial fishing. Yep, got the buildable rods. Yeah. There's quite a lot of pets as well that we can pick up, skilling pets. Oh, there we go, there's one slot completed. There we go, the full Shazian set. And we've got a few miscellaneous things. Longbone the other day, a couple of Hesperia seeds, Talisman, 9th key as well. But there's all sorts in here, so I'll probably do a whole episode based off that. And maybe I'll make one of those fancy infographics to kind of check off people do to check off the equipment that they gain, kind of set goals and things like that. So yeah, that's kind of it for this episode. I wanted to introduce the series. I think for me personally, recording this and getting it out there will be the first step to keep at the series. Obviously with leagues being delayed till next year, boo hiss, I know. I was literally looking forward to that myself. Gives me a bit of time to kind of really get into this series, get into the account, and like I said, hopefully share this journey with you guys. I think it'll be an awesome time. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to leave it at that. As always, if you do like the video, give it a like. Feel free to subscribe to my channel, it is free. And leave a comment if you've got any suggestions, any ideas. This can be a learning experience as well about the game mode. Like I said, I've done a relatively, I'm sort of in the mid game of my main UIM called Flo the UIM. And I'll have his stats on at the end just to kind of show what he's been up to. But yeah, I'm just excited to go on this journey with you, and hopefully we can achieve some amazing things together. And who knows, and maybe there is the possibility to max this account. I'm probably way off from doing that. But yeah, for now, 75 combat, 43 prayer, and the 10 slayer, hopefully. So take care. I'll see you guys in the next episode, which hopefully won't be too long. And yeah, have a great day. Thank you.